listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control, and when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. 'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? And thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. On this Tuesday, December 9th, I'm your host, Michael Leva, joined by Josh Moser from WSVN 7, South Florida's #1 news channel. Josh, how you doing today on this Tuesday?
I'm doing good. Crazy that we're talking about relevant Dolphins football in mid-December. It's unexpected. Yeah. And here we are.
Unexpected. I'm shocked, actually. I'm actually shocked. We're going to talk a little bit about how we got here on today's show, because really how we got here has been a winding road of, I can't believe we're here. This is a boat, but here's where we are, and we live in reality. Also, today, the 9th, is the anniversary. I think the 7-year anniversary of the Miami Miracle. Crazy play. Now, I want to say this about that play. Great play. Obviously, a play that all Dolphins fans remember where they were when it happened type of deal. To me, though, in the history of the Dolphins, it's not as high on the list as other people put it, because the next 2 weeks we were totally embarrassed, and the play didn't result in anything. Like, we didn't win the final 2 games, or even one of the final 2 games. So great play. Obviously, it's the Patriots, Brady, it's great. But to me, I don't rank it as high on the list of all time great plays Dolphins, because the next 2 weeks we fell on our face.
Yeah, the snow game in Dallas.
Yes, that's up there. Well, yeah, but same thing where they lost every game after. But that, same type of
similar situation.
Same similar situation. We spoke about this last week. I think off the air. I'm not sure on the air. I did watch on HBO Max the 1985 thing on the Bears. The first 20 minutes is about the game in Miami, because they recorded the Super Bowl shuffle the day after they lost the game.
Ooh.
The day after they lost to Miami, they recorded it, but 2 people didn't show up. Jim McMahon, Walter Payton. They were so distraught about the loss, they didn't show up the next day. They're in the video, but they had to shoot their stuff later in front of a green screen, and they superimposed it in the video.
Ooh.
But everyone else on the team, most of them, they were supposed to show up at like 9 in the morning. Most of them didn't show up till noon. Singletary was the one who sort of told everyone, we told them yes. We are going to be men of our word. We will show up. And he was the one who got everyone to show up, except those 2. And those were like the first 2 people to say yes to this whole thing, and they didn't show. And there was a little bit of resentment, but not too much or anything. But the first 10 minutes of that thing is all about that game and what went wrong. And I can't believe we just lost to Miami. It was really good.
I got to watch that.
It's
on
really
my Christmas
good.
List.
Yeah, it's only like 40 minutes, so it goes quick, but it is very good.
Okay.
All right. Before we get into everything with this game, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Caneswear. It's the holiday season. If you got to buy something for your friends or someone in your family, or you just want to treat yourself, go to Caneswear.com. Yeah. They got the best apparel for the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Miami Heat, the Miami Marlins. They also got stuff for the soccer team down there, which I don't follow soccer, but if you're into soccer, they got stuff for that soccer team down there.
Yeah, they just won a championship, man. In Miami.
Great. I am not a soccer guy, but that's awesome. Messi. That's all I know. Messi.
That's all you need.
That's all you need to know. But everyone go to Caneswear.com if you're in South Florida, 2655 South University Drive. Shout out to everyone watching on the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page. For those of you watching us live on YouTube, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you leave us a super chat, super chats are open. We will read it on the air and give you priority. Super chats are the best way to support the channel. And Dolphins Talk Extra. We did our live watch along on Sunday. Josh and Aaron, they came over to my house. We did a live watch along. A lot of fun. Sign up between now and the end of the season for $1 for the first month. $1. Use the promo code DTXmas. DTXmas. I see someone in our chat is a little bit upset that I'm wearing a Syracuse shirt. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. That's my local team, okay? Yes, and go Canes. They made the playoffs. Congratulations. Okay, Jets Dolphins this past week. My question is, Miami did what they were supposed to do. They dominated. They got a little bit lucky when it went to a third string undrafted rookie quarterback came in who was just in over his head. They took care of business. They played well. They won the game. That's what you're supposed to do. That's true. Here's the second truth. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Can we take anything away from this game because the Jets were so non-competitive?
Yes, you can. And that's the idea where you didn't play down to your opponent, which we've seen this team do under multiple times under Mike McDaniel. You saw the defense, I understand, rookie third-string quarterback, and they've traded away a lot of pieces on both sides of this ball. But here's a team that finished a game. What scared me, you're going to take away, how do I call an offense if Devon Achane can't play? Because he didn't play in the second half. And you really got a couple different looks just to see how you can operate this. And I loved that Jalen Wright got out there, got all those reps. I understand everyone's like, give Ollie the ball. But look, you were able to finish this game. When you're up 21-0 in the first quarter, you should definitely win the game. I would have liked to see the offense do more in the second half. But yes, a lot to take away. And, I would say we were giving, Anthony Weaver a hard time early in the season. Like, this defense just couldn't figure it out, all these young players. And you saw them basically dominate that first half outside of the one final possession. I think the Jets had like 25 yards. I understand a lot of that was Tyrod Taylor getting hurt and you bring in the rookie undrafted, third string QB, but you want a cold weather game. I know the fans will love that. I understand it's the Jets, but you're taking confidence. You've put together an actual winning streak here. You're going into Monday Night Football with a lot of momentum. It's a hurt Aaron Rodgers. You have Jalen Ramsey there. I mean, Jonnu, you knew that he was going to be gone, but this is it. Like, you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a huge win, especially on prime time. Big opportunity in front of them, and I'm very curious to see what happens. I hope that it's competitive. Dolphins fans are going to be like, Rodgers is hurt, we're going to beat them just like we beat the Jets. But remember, this team's leading the division. And this to me is your measuring stick game. Is this team actually competitive? How good is this team right now? Because the teams they beat, let's be honest, Mike,
that's my next question. Like, to me, and again, I know, look, I am a hard marker. I don't just pass out compliments left and right like some fans do. The wins versus Washington, the Saints, and the Jets are nice. They should have won those games. Those first two games were probably closer than they should have been, but they won. I'm not going to nitpick. They won. They're supposed to win. You throw in a win versus Atlanta when they didn't have their quarterback or their best wide receiver. They won. They won by a lot. The first game versus Jets at home. Jets are Mets. They won. They won. Outside of the Bills, that's their only impressive win in my eyes this year is the game versus the Bills. So this Monday night, everyone's saying Mike McDaniel's saving his job. He's saving his job. To me, it's like, it's the same Mike McDaniel. Beat up on the bad teams, struggle versus the good teams. He did beat the Bills. I'll give him credit there. He beat the Bills. Do it now on the road late in the year in the cold versus a Hall of Fame coach in Tomlin, a Hall of Fame quarterback in Rodgers, who, mind you, Rodgers last year versus Miami won and played well week 18. In the game in Miami this week last year, should have won the game. He played outstanding. He played well against Miami last year.
Really well.
Go there on Monday and win. Because if you lose that game, and if you lose like by a lot, I don't want to hear Mike McDaniel saving his job. Because to me, it's same old Dolphins, same old Mike McDaniel, beat up on the bad teams late in the year, play someone good outside in the cold, and you get your butts kicked. He needs this game badly. This is a big game for McDaniel.
I believe you're trying to ask me, is Mike McDaniel done enough to keep his job?
That's probably a question. I gave more of a statement, but yes.
To me, because of the Tua contract, I think they're riding with him. And
I agree with you.
And we've talked about this. But yes, if you want to show Mike McDaniel as yourself that you can take a step, again, you don't have Tyreek Hill. And if Devon Achane, who's supposed to rest all week because of the bruised ribs, which hurt like hell, look, you got to have Devon Achane in the lineup. Like, this team cannot win without him against the Steelers. I'm sorry. He's been their entire offense the entire season. He allows you to do so many different things. But if you have this extra day all this time and you're supposed to be this offensive guru And now you've figured out your system of delegating so that you're not worrying about the head coaching responsibilities as much, where you can truly focus on a game plan. This is your week to put it together, like you said. And if you could go back, even like the last, I'll say the entire season, Mike McDaniel's opening drive script is phenomenal.
Great. It's awesome.
From there, what have we seen? And that's where I want to see improvement. To give Mike McDaniel the credit of he hasn't lost the locker room. The players love him. Like, huge kudos. And you want that. And you love to see the young kids get better. Shout out Jonas Savaianaya. Like, finally, you can see the improvement. Patrick Paul, I think, is maybe the biggest surprise out of anybody. I mean, he looks like a bona fide.
He's the most important one, too, because left tackles are tough to find.
And that was a great shout out, Chris Greer. I mean, that was a second-round pick. I mean, you hit there. You really found somebody. So a lot's going right for this team right now, but this is the actual first test that we've seen in 5 weeks. And this is your litmus test, your measuring stick. And if you're a decent team, you got to win this game. I mean, look, you got to win out and get help to make the playoffs. I think any fan that's watching this is guys, it's unrealistic.
Because
it's
here in our chat, we have a longtime listener who's been very good to us over the years. Garrett says, with the Bills winning Chargers, tough to make the playoffs. To me, it's not even about the playoffs because they're not going to the playoffs. It's not about the playoffs. What I am more focused on here this final month, the final 4 games, is if we're going to have Mike McDaniel next year, he better show me something. And this is a chance for him to show, I think show a lot of people something, actually. Because in the eyes of many, and I just heard today, Channing Crowder on 560 WQAM say he don't want Mike McDaniel back next year because we know the rep. Beat up on the bad teams, lose to the good teams.
Yeah.
We'll start off 1-5, 1-6 in a huge hole, make a run, get close to 500, miss the playoff. We've seen this dance before. That's why, to me, he beat the Bills. That's awesome. That's 1. If he can beat Pittsburgh and then Tampa Bay at home, those are 3 good wins this year. 3. Mm-hmm. 1 on the road in the cold, 2 at home. Then you know what? If he does stay next year, I'm not going to love it. But at least I go, you know what? Maybe things have changed. Maybe he is turning the corner. To me, if they go out there and lose 27-10 on Monday, then it's I really don't want him back next year because I know how the script's going to play out. But I know he might be back, and I'll have to just live with it. But the point is, I understand. To me, the last 3 games, they tell me nothing because I've seen him he has mastered beating teams that are bad. What he hasn't mastered is beating teams that are good, especially on the road.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what we're all wanting to see. Can we finally start talking about it? Well, what was they talk, we do. That was the mantra.
That was part of my clip this week. I said, this is the they talk, we do moment.
This is it.
Step up.
Put it together. And my confidence level, if they'll execute in the cold against this defense, top 5 unit in the league. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Jalen Ramsey does in this game. I'm going to be watching.
He's going to be highly motivated, highly. And I haven't followed him this year each week.
Oh, he's been good.
Well, yes. Well, I've heard mixed. I heard some people say he's not the same. He's getting older. He's not going to be the same Ramsey. He's still a Hall of Fame corner. And I know he's played some safety this year for them too. So he's tried to navigate a few different areas on the field. He will be highly motivated in this game to make a big play. Too.
I mean, Minka's been lights out the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's another bright spot, he's been playing really well. Zach Steeler coming off his best game of the season. We really haven't seen anything from him after he got paid just before the start of the year. So to me, this team is trending, but like you said,
this is a real team. This is a real team. This is a real game on the road, Monday Night Football, which still means something on some level. This is a spot. To me, we're going to learn because in recent history with Mike McDaniel, this is when Miami doesn't show up. At Houston last year, at the Packers last year, previous years, at the Chiefs in the playoffs, they didn't show up. At the Philadelphia Eagles game, they really didn't play well. In recent years, these are the spots where Miami doesn't show up. They come out unprepared. They're down. We're down 21-0 before. It's what just happened? And it's over by halftime usually. Yeah. At the Ravens that one year when we lost 56 to whatever it was 10 or something. God, these are the spots where it's Mike, show me something in this type of game. And Pittsburgh's not even that good, but I will consider them good. They're in first place, and it's Pittsburgh, Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame quarterback. Do it this week, and then maybe, as I said on my little clip from Sunday night, people like me will be like, you know what? Maybe Mike is improving. Maybe something has changed. But if he doesn't, it's like, well, I don't really care that you beat the Saints, Washington, and the Jets. I've seen you do that a million times.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm very
curious because and I know fans get caught up in wins, but I hear fans want to give Rasul Douglas like a 3-year contract. Well, he's 31, folks. Let's calm down, okay? He's played well. I'm not going to say he hasn't played well. He's played very well, but let's not give him a 3-year deal based off a nice month of November here. Let's pump the brakes. So it's like this team still has a lot of holes. They still have a lot of things they need to clean up. What did you think about the play calling at the end of the half versus the Jets and the play at the start of the second half where we're running the ball for like 9 yards a clip and he's throwing sideways passes? They're almost going for touchdowns against us. That's where Mike loses me, though. I will admit that's where he loses me.
So the thing is, Tua says that the plays all come from Mike. Mike has mentioned that sometimes Tua changes the play. So it gets a little dicey, but yes, you need to run the ball down their throats. And where I give Mike McDaniel a lot of credit is when you had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Darren Waller, the idea was to throw the ball, kind of like you did in 2023. Yeah. And he has turned this team and this offensive line, which has looked decent in the last few weeks. Again, you really haven't seen anybody. Now you've got TJ Watt, the works. But he's turned this team into a running team. And that's what it's going to have to be. Bringing in the 6th offensive lineman has been great. I understand that it's a copycat league and you got that from somebody else. But Cole Strange, to me, has been a piece that's played really, really well. And it's identifying your talent. I think Aaron Brewer is also having a better season than he's being given credit for. And I want to see this continue, though, against an upper echelon, team. So I've got no problem with running the ball. Like, you want to win games in cold weather in December and January, you got to run the ball in between the tackles. And I think this is an Ollie Gordon game. I would love to see Ollie get more touches. I thought Jalen Wright played really, really well against.
I think they're going to more of a 3-headed monster back there with, of course, Achane's the lead guy. But I think those other 2 guys are going to get some run because, they're more of a run for his team, as they should be, because that's what it's what works. So don't get away from it. But I think they're all going to get work. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, if you've got Jalen Ramsey sitting back there in a too high look, you're not going to be finding Waddle. And they also know that Tua loves to throw the ball over the middle. So you're not going to see Waddle on a ton of crossing routes either. So the only way to get to your bread and butter passing game is to establish this run. And, Tua's got to hit his spots. And we've seen him struggle. I think this might be my most frustrating year with Tua covering him, simply because of how inconsistent he's been when he's been healthy. And you talk about Mike Tomlin, the defense and all that. They know Tua isn't running. Tua's not mobile. It is what it is. And you have to use what they know against them. And that's where I want to see Mike McDaniel's, mastermind. And let's see if this team can execute. I'm very curious to see how they come out in this game. My hope is that they come out fast, because if this team gets down 14-0, it's over.
It's over, because then he's going to want to throw it a lot, and that's when he makes mistakes. Exactly. And if it's like 5 degrees or 10 degrees and there's snow coming down, there's going to be a lot of mistakes. That's going to snowball, not to make a joke, quickly in Pittsburgh. Yep. There. Yeah.
One last point, though. They've decided on the coin toss to take the ball first so they can try to play with the lead. And I like that mentality.
I like that mentality too.
And that was a change that I will give Mike McDaniel a check in the box for.
I know I am in the vast minority. I like that too in overtime. Everyone says, you want the ball second to see what you got to do. I say, no, I want to put the pressure on them to where they have to score. Let me score first, and then they're going to get all tense. Like, oh, damn, they scored. We better get in field goal range. Or, oh, damn, they scored. We better get a touchdown here. Yes, they get one extra down because they don't have to worry about a punt. But it's like, I don't care. Let them have the extra down. I want to put the pressure on them. And I'd rather have the ball first. Usually for most teams and most head coaches, like you want to put your best unit on the field first. And I think for Miami this year, what's the best unit? I mean, week to week, you don't even know half the time. But I would say right now, run the ball. Yeah, because don't fall behind. Because his quarterback's not going to throw you back into a game. You can't get behind with him.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that's why that first quarter is going to be imperative. We've seen this team start fast last week, and the defense has been forcing turnovers, which you're going to need on the road. You're going to need more of that. But this is Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers isn't making mistakes. The only time you're going to see him turn the ball over is if he gets hit or you got a tip drill situation. But he's not putting the ball in spots where Tua's put the ball out this season. That's just not his game.
Yeah, and I think Rodgers also knows. I mean, I don't know if it's his last year, but it probably is his last year. And right now, after that win last week, they're in first place. He ain't going to want to let this slip out of his hands. He's going to want a home playoff game. This is it for him. And plus, the AFC is so wide open. It is so wide open.
That's
right
the
now.
Frustrating part.
Like Rodgers is going to, it is for Miami, but really for someone like Rodgers, he's going to be like, this is it. This is my last best chance, probably. Because, Pat Mahomes next year is probably going to be really good again. The Ravens next year will probably be really good again. And it's like, then you're going to have a team like the Patriots just going to get better. Like, this is his last best chance. I think he's going to be locked in on Monday night to be like, now we're back in first. Let's not give this up so easily.
Oh, yeah. This is the step on your neck type game with the Steelers. And this is the, make you believe game if you're the Dolphins.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting because I think Pittsburgh is smart enough. They're probably going to try to take away Waddle, because that's really you got Waller, but Waddle's a big threat in the passing game. If they take him away, who steps up for Miami in the passing game to make a big catch in a big spot?
It has to be Waller.
It has to be Waller. It does. But
Cedric Wilson might be the only other guy that I would trust right now. He's played good in spots, but Nick Westbrook-Akine hasn't given you anything.
He's a ghost. Yeah.
Malik Washington, I love, but he's got to be used differently, and that would be something to watch for in how Mike McDaniel utilizes him. He's got a unique skill set, but he's got to get more vertical. And the end arounds are great, but you've seen that a bunch of times. So here's if you've got any bullets left in the tank from a play calling perspective, you empty that chamber.
You know what? I did forget about this name, and people here in the chat, pretty boy here. Greg Dulcich has been pretty dang good the past couple of weeks. I know he has been good. Now look, it's Greg Dulcich, but you're right. You're right. He is someone who they can find the ball because he's been getting himself open.
UCLA, baby.
He's been very good. Here we have a question. Let's answer this question. What's the point of keeping Jason Sanders? Well, I mean, look, he's hurt. There's no need to cut Sanders because he's on IR. They will let that sort itself out after the year, who they keep, who they let go. But there's no need to rush back Sanders because Riley Patterson's been exceptional this year for them.
Yeah, and that's something, the new GM will look at.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Drew Rosenhaus about this, and Riley Patterson's making 25% of what Jason Sanders is making. Patterson's making just over $1 million. Sanders is making a little over $4 million, but Sanders has been clutch. He's a Pro Bowler. He's one of the best kickers when healthy. And this is a thing where you stick with him. You save that roster spot. Remember, you might try to bring a couple of guys back, and you can only bring a couple guys back. So there's really
Seven
no need.
back, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, Sanders is still getting paid. It's actually helping their salary cap where it is in case they need to sign a guy off the street, as we've seen them do, in the last few seasons. Houston comes to mind. Melvin Ingram comes to mind. So this is leaving some, roster bullets in the chamber, but Sanders is entering his last year in his contract next year. Decisions will be made, but we don't know who the GM is. So Patterson, though, if he doesn't stick on with the Dolphins, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a job as a starter somewhere else.
Yeah, he is. He's been very good this year for them, and he has really come through. I can only remember him missing like one, maybe two kicks, and they weren't really big kicks. Let's just say they were. Yes, I mean
he's been money. Like from that 45 to 55,
yes.
He hasn't missed, and that is a crucial data point.
Especially these days. All these guys are making them from like 50, 58.
Yeah.
You got to be money in that 40 to 50 range because that's the sweet spot that's where you're trying to get the ball to get at least 3 points on a drive.
Yeah. But, I can tell you from covering the Green Bay Packers and talking to Mason Crosby for years, when it's going to be in the teens like it is now for this Pittsburgh game, that ball turns into a rock. And that thing is a lot harder to kick in these cold weather games. And it hurts your foot. And depending on how the wind goes, it flies very differently than it would on a normal South Florida game. So they'll go out there in pregame, kind of like an insider. I find it fascinating, but a lot of the players, they'll bring different level of spikes, and they bring like 10 different cleats to figure out which shoe gives them the most traction. And a lot of them will keep a second pair on the bench just to change it, depending on how the grass feels. We know that, I'm sorry, I forget the name of Heinz Field, whatever the new name of it is.
Yeah,
now.
whatever it's called. But
that's something, if you see a player changing his shoes, they purposely try not to put that on the camera, but that's very commonplace in cold weather grass stadiums, which, you know, if you see that, don't be alarmed, because it's very common.
Yeah, and Heinz Field, or whatever it's called these days, and MetLife are historically the two worst places to kick because of the wind and how everything goes. So he was at one last week, now he's at one this week. We'll see how it goes, because that's just historically a tough place at that one end, which is open-ended. You don't know which way the wind's blowing. It has made it tough, but I'm sure they've been talking about it all week. They've probably been watching tape of last home game there, how the ball moved in the air. So I'm sure they'll be ready. But historically, that's a tougher place to kick in Pittsburgh. But
you want to talk about Jason Sanders? I mean, no, they haven't played the Steelers in that time, but that's knowledge that he can pass to Riley.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a network of kickers. Remember, everybody has similar agents, and that type of information is shared. So it'd actually be cool to get Riley on the show to kind of talk about these things. So we'll put that in the works here.
Yeah, he's had a good year. He's been very good. But, yeah, this is a big game for Miami. Look, again, it's not even about the playoffs. I know, well, yes, in a perfect world, it would be a fairy tale from going 1-6 to making the playoffs. It's just
to go get
not even about that
in the first round. I mean,
I know. I am with you. The last thing I want to see them go is round one, go to New England and lose by 30, or go round one, go to the Broncos and lose by and watch Sean Payton go, you put 70 up on us last time. I didn't forget. And watch him put up 7. Like, I don't need to see that either. It's more about, you want to see the young players, especially up front with Grant, Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, continue to grow and play better. Jonah on the offensive line. I want to see, it's more about this last month in these games that, have some meaning, at least, or at least this next one does. You want to see them play well in a big spot. And I want to see the head coach have his team ready in a big spot and win. Look, if they lose by 1, that doesn't impress me either. Win the game. That's what we're getting paid for, winning games.
I mean, you're not excited to watch the Bengals get flexed out of prime time, and now we're back to 1 o'clock? Like, it's ready to have that all excited. The team could win. That tells you how the NFL feels about Finn's
Cincinnati's 4-9. Cincinnati's 4-9. And it's not exactly a huge market in the world of television, which Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay,
Joe Burrow and Tua. Come on now.
And then you got Miami, who's 6-7, and say, we got Cincinnati, which is about this big of a TV market, and Miami, which is a little bit bigger. Or you can put the Ravens, which is Washington and Baltimore, against the Patriots, which is all Boston. 2 huge TV markets, 2 good teams. Well, Ravens are so-so, but it's like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, but we don't talk rationally on an internet podcast.
No, we don't. We got. Yeah, I know. Nothing's rational. The fans I saw this week celebrating that Miami's one game closer to 500. I'm like, it's December. We should be over 500. Celebrate. Tell me when we're over 500.
It's crazy. Like, you go back to like week 13. We're in week 15. Like, if you make 2 plays differently, like you're 8-4.
If Chris Olave catches that, if they would have held on versus the Chargers for 40 seconds.
Oh God, they should have beat. I mean, the Colts game had no chance, but the first Patriots game could have been.
Patriots on a kickoff return after we scored. We gave it right back. Then you had the Panthers game, which they scored, had a lead, gave it right back. Yeah. And then you got the Chargers game. Those 3 games right there, were brutal losses.
Brutal. We're missing one. Buffalo, the Jets, Carolina, the Chargers. In Cleveland, they just didn't show up.
They didn't show up against Cleveland. Didn't show up against the Ravens. It's really Patriots, Chargers, and Panthers. Those are the 3 that will be the reason they don't make the playoffs. But again, and it's also funny that they started playing way better on defense after they traded Jalen Phillips. Go figure that out.
Yeah, people, being around the locker room, Champ Kelly, we haven't talked about him tonight, is really energized this team. And I understand, he was brought in and, hasn't been with the team, comes over from the Raiders, but he's provided a lot of juice at different field than Chris. And I think I would credit him with doing things a little bit differently and switching up. It's worked. Obviously, has he picked the talent on this team? No, it is, but I think just getting a different juice, different energy in the building, that's kind of a little bit of that secret sauce that's not often talked about, but it's changing the mentality a little bit. And yeah, we're going to find out. Like, this is the week. This is it.
This is it. This is a watershed moment here for Mike McDaniel. Last question real quick. And I don't want to get into the whole thing, just real quick, because now we're here, 4 games left. Whenever it comes, whenever Miami is mathematically eliminated, it could be with 1 game left, with 2 games left. It could be after next week. Do they bench Tua for a game or 2 and play someone else? Not because they don't like him and they're going to move on, just because it don't matter anymore. He hasn't been great. Let's just see what we got with somebody else.
So here's the argument. One, you're going to skip over Zach Wilson. He's a rental, void years. Yeah. It's really, can Quinn Ewers get him some reps to try to get some value? There's 2 arguments to this. One is, as a head coach, you're trying to get as many wins as possible. And you have players on this roster that have bonuses. If you get X amount of yards, X amount of wins, like that all factors in, but I think for whomever the new GM is, I think it'd be important to get Ewers just a chance just to see what he can do if he's healthy, and especially against a Patriots team in the final week that may not have anything to play for. We don't know yet. But what Tua's going to give you. I think
who he is at this point. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value in it, and I would hope that Ewers would get that chance. But I'm not the one making the decisions. No. But I would also like to see Mike McDaniel, and I'm sure, he would never say this publicly. Look, he and Tua have made each other a ton of money. He resurrected Tua's career. Tua put Mike McDaniel on the map as a head coach. I think Mike McDaniel would like to maybe work with somebody else.
I think he was
just a test for his own self. We understand where he came from, who he worked with in Washington, who he worked with in San Francisco. But this would be something, that I think that he would like, even though he would never say that publicly. Tua and him, I believe they're the perfect combination for each other. I would expect them to be back next year, but I see value in playing Ewers.
Yeah, I mean, again, once you're out of the playoffs, someone needs to be the adult in the room, even if it's not Mike. Someone above him has to say, Mike, it's over. We're not in the playoffs. We're going to either keep you or not. That's already been, decided. Let's play someone else and see what we got. If he won't make the call, someone has to step in and make the call for him, type of deal.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. Look, I stopped trying to guess what this franchise will do.
But you win this game against the Steelers.
As long as they win, each game will matter, so it's not going to matter. But there is going to come a point here, week 17, week 18, where, odds are, even if we keep winning, as long as teams like the Chargers keep winning and stuff, like, we're going to be out of it mathematically eventually, even if we keep winning. And at that point, who makes the call?
Yeah.
Because he's been bad this year, Tua.
That would be management.
Should be. And someone's got to step in, because he hasn't been good this year, Tua. Again, whether he's here next year, which he will be, that's fine. That's a whole different conversation. But for 1 or 2 games at the end of a year, which is lost, play someone else and let's just see. Let's just see what we got.
The only thing that would really bother me is if you somehow go into Pittsburgh and win this game, and then you have a complete letdown against the Bengals at home. To me, that would be catastrophic.
At home to the fans would boo.
I mean, look, and I understand Tampa Bay just lost to the Saints, and you beat the Saints. We
almost lost to the Saints. I mean,
exactly. But, you should, regardless of what happens in Pittsburgh, I truly believe that you should beat the Bengals at home. If you're looking at the teams and how they're playing on paper, that defense has nobody, especially now with the DE having surgery. That's a game you should win. And then, but we'll see. And again, Achane is key. I hope he's got the little Kevlar vest on that protect the ribs. Give him a little Toradol so he can't feel anything, and just pray that he can make it through this game unscathed. And, for him too, it's kind of like, shoot, what do I have to play for? I'm going into a contract next year. How much do I want to push this? Because we ain't making the playoffs. And realistically, I've got, arguably $60 to $75 million hanging in the balance in the next 12 months. So
hey, I wouldn't blame him one bit.
No.
And I was laughing on our live feed at the watch along when the news came across my phone that the kid from Ohio State, Caleb Downs, he's going to be a top 5 pick, top 3 pick, top 10 pick, somewhere around there. He is like, the scouts love this kid. He is opting out of the playoffs. He's not going to play one down. He goes, I have to think about my future. I have to think about my family. I think about moving forward. He is opting out of all the playoff games at Ohio State. When, mind you, they're a 2 seed with a chance to win it all. He don't give a crap. It's like, this is the world we live in college and pro. You have to think about yourself, which I get it. That's a brutal sport, which we've seen one play can end it, can change everything.
Yes, it can.
But when that happens in college, it's damn sure going to happen in the pros. And someone like Achane, who's already got 1,000 yards, everyone knows he's great this year. He's got all his flowers already. Once we're out of it, he's going to be like, guys, don't need this problem anymore. Play the kids.
Yeah. And I mean, Downs has his brother, Josh Downs, who's in the league with the Colts. So they know the game. And
they know it.
I'm sorry if you're a fan here saying, where's the love of the sport? For your team, you're letting down your brothers, your teammates. I'm in
if
favor
it
of the
was
player
just a
on this one.
1-game championship, I'm sure he'd play. But the fact it's possibly for them 3 games. I ain't played 3 games. 3? You want to play 1? I'll play 1. 3, it's a bit much. I ain't gonna risk that. So
yeah,
I get it.
Top 5 money. You're looking at over $20 million guaranteed, except for life.
And the scouts love him. Every mock, which I know they're mocks this time of year, he's going either like 4 or 6 or 7 or 8. Like, he is up there. The scouts say he's the smartest guy they've seen in years at safety. I've seen him in a few mocks when we were picking higher Miami, inside the top 10. They had him going to Miami because it's a need in the secondary. But yeah, he's going to be a high pick. So it is what it is. I don't blame him.
I'm trying to think of who's the highest picked safety. We haven't had one in a while.
Minka was up there. I mean, he was close to top 10. He was 13.
Just in general, trying to think.
Well, I know the one who's considered the best is the guy for the Ravens, although he went a little bit later.
He was later. He's phenomenal.
He went later, but people thought he would have been picked much higher. He's so good.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton.
He fell just because how that went the draft. How it fell, he fell.
Yeah.
So
Rodriguez, the kid for the Patriots, was a first-round pick.
Yeah,
he's more of a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had a high rated one.
DJ Ward, I don't know if he was it was years ago for the Broncos. He was a thumper.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah, I mean, it might be Minka. Now that I'm thinking, because he went 12 or 13?
I'm sorry. I'm on my computer, everybody. Give me a sec. Highest picked safeties.
Well, of all time, you get guys like Troy Polamalu was 16th, Eric Weddle 37th. I mean, there's a lot of guys who went. That's not the highest.
So Kyle Hamilton was 14 overall. Minka was
13,
11 overall in 2018.
11? Okay.
Jamal Adams was 6th in 17.
Wow. Adams was 6.
Eric Berry, 5th overall in 2010. Sean Taylor, 5th overall in 04. But that's pretty much it.
Jamal Adams went 6 overall.
Yeah.
That's Calvin, a guy who would. Yeah.
Pryor, I don't remember him at all. He went 18th overall in 2014. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton would be the only one in the 2020 year later.
Yeah. And he's going to break this one because he's going top 10. This kid, he's too good. Even if he fell to 11, he's still. I mean,
well, Chris Greer wasn't going to draft him, so.
Well, he took Minka. He did draft Minka.
He did, and Minka is. If you ask Chris Greer, Minka is his favorite player of all time, of coming out.
He's everyone's favorite player. Nick Saban said he was his favorite player.
Yeah,
I think it was because Minka was so versatile. Yeah. And could do something, and he was so smart and a hard worker. And then, of course, when it came to Flores and he wanted to move him around, he told Flores, no. Wait, we drafted you to be versatile. You don't want to be I think it was just a clash with Flores, honestly. But, yeah, I mean, Minka coming out of school was outstanding. So, yeah, it's so crazy.
It's 2018. Wow. All right. Thanks for indulging me on that one, everybody.
No, there it is. Everyone, thank you for listening. Be sure to follow Josh on social media at The Mo's Knows. Check him out at WSVN7, South Florida's #1 news channel. And check out the website, DolphinsTalk.com. You can follow me on social media at DolphinsTalk. My voice is going at DolphinsTalk. I'll be joined by Tom Ernest on Wednesday night. We'll have some fun there, and we'll have shows the rest of the week. So everyone, take care. We'll talk to you again after a while. And when you're out there on the roads, and it's very slippery out by me, a lot of snow.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're about to get a foot in the next 18 hours.
Different type of snow in Miami.
Yeah, different type of snow. Either way, when you're driving in the snow or on the snow, make sure we put an end to highway profanity. Take care.
See you, everybody.